In the era of globalization, people around the world are linked together into one community in which everybody has an influence on everybody else. While globalization does bring certain benefits, it is clear that it is also a contributing factor to a number of the political, economic, and social problems which cause so much chaos, anxiety, and suffering in the world. Faced with such a crisis, how can we attain peace of mind? As Master Xin Dao has said, a pure land of the spirit can only be built on the foundation provided by the ideals of religion. It doesn't matter which religion, since love and peace are the common ideals of all faiths. This is the guiding principle which led to the establishment of the Museum of World Religions. The museum's motto, "Respect all faiths, value all cultures, and love all living beings," has met with widespread approval. Thus, at the Third Parliament of the World's Religions, held in Cape Town, South Africa in 1999, Chairman Dr. Howard A. Salkin remarked that the Museum of World Religions is a gift given by religion to the people of the 21st century. On November 9, 2001, after 10 years of preparations, the Museum of World Religions, located in Yonghe, Taipei County, Taiwan, finally opened to the public, setting the stage for a series of interreligious dialogues and exchanges. Beginning in 2001 with the International Conference on Preserving Sacred Footprints, a variety of conferences and dialogues have been organized in conjunction with other religious organizations. The most successful of these has been the Buddhist-Muslim Dialogue Series. The Buddhist-Muslim Dialogue Series was initiated in response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. With tensions between the Islamic and Western worlds mounting daily, Master Xin Dao realized that Buddhism could serve as a neutral mediator in the search for harmonious coexistence, and wanted to give Muslims a chance to be heard. The first dialogue was held in New York, and was a major step on the long road leading from conflict to peace. Held at Columbia University in New York in March 2002, the theme of the first Buddhist-Muslim dialogue was Searching for Consensus, Cooperating for Peace. The moderator was Bawa Jain, the secretary of the Millennium World Peace Summit of religious and spiritual leaders. In addition to Master Xin Dao, founder of the Museum of World Religions, participants included Faisal Abdul Rao, Imam of the Masjid Al-Farah Mosque in New York City, Professor David Chappell, Professor Emeritus of the University of Hawaii, and co-founder and former president of the Buddhist Christian Studies Society, and Professor Amir Al-Islam, director of the Forum for Muslim Dialogue. A number of penetrating talks were given, comparing the meaning of spirituality in Buddhism and Islam, establishing a solid basis for mutual appreciation and future exchange. On the suggestion of a number of international scholars, the second dialogue was held in Malaysia in cooperation with the International Movement for a Just World Malaysia, headed by Professor Dr. Chandra Muzaffar. The dialogue was held in Kuala Lumpur in May 2002 with the theme of Globalization in Asia. Prior to the conference, Master Xin Dao visited a number of Muslim organizations and also called on the local Buddhist community to attend the event. The dialogue was held in the packed conference hall of the Qingdao Daily News, despite being in poor health. Noted Buddhist elder Sri Dhammananda made an appearance and expressed his support for the event. A number of prominent members of the local Muslim community participated, including Ustaz Uthman El-Muhammadi and Chandra Muzaffar. In response to the invitation of Dr. M. Habib Chirzan, president of the Islamic Millennium Forum, the third Buddhist-Muslim dialogue was held in Jakarta in July 2002 with the theme of spiritual globalization. Over 100 participants came together to share their views and experience, including scholars and religious leaders from Switzerland, Thailand, the United States, and Malaysia. Although former Indonesian President Abdurrahman Wahid was unable to attend, he invited Master Shin Dao and his party to attend a banquet prior to the dialogue and signed on as a consultant to the Museum of World Religion's newly established NGO, the Global Family for Love and Peace, another of Master Shin Dao's contributions to breaking down the barriers which divide different religions. Since the first three Buddhist-Muslim dialogues were recognized by UNESCO, the fourth dialogue was held at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. Jointly convened by UNESCO and the GFLP over a 3-day period in May 2003, participants included over 20 scholars and religious leaders from around the world. Beginning with a review of the third dialogue, speakers led in-depth discussions on a wide range of topics, including global ethics and good governance, Buddhism in Europe, Islam in Europe, responses to violence, barriers between religions, and peace education. At the conclusion of the conference, exchanges were conducted between mosques and Buddhist temples in Paris. In May 2004, Master Shin Dao was invited to Tehran to participate in a seminar titled The Responsibility of Religion, held in conjunction with the Motahari International Conference. Thus, Master Shin Dao became the first Buddhist figure to be invited to the Islamic Republic of Iran. The sixth dialogue was held in Barcelona in July 2004, in conjunction with the Fourth Parliament of the World's Religions. With the theme of Buddha, Allah, and Governance, the dialogue was honored by the participation of noted theologian Hans Kuhn. A number of participants shared with the Assembly their reflections and insights derived from the previous dialogues. In the closing ceremony, Master Shin Dao went on stage and offered his blessings to all humanity.
祈愿我们一切的真善美都能够圆满。祈愿我们每一个人创造出爱、和平。
The seventh dialogue was held in November 2005 in Marrakesh, Morocco, with the assistance of Simon G. Hermès, Director and Vice Chairman of Hermès of Paris. Over 10 notable figures from the fields of religion, politics, culture, and art came together to discuss religion and society. Master Shin Dao and Liao Yixi, CEO of the Museum of World Religions, led a number of discussions in which participants shared their ideas about how to use religious experience to transform society. The eighth dialogue was held in Beijing in November 2006 at Beijing University. A range of noted scholars and religious leaders from around the world gathered to discuss the theme of Buddhist and Muslim doctrines and practices concerning life and death. Ye Xiaowen, the director of China's State Administration for Religious Affairs, attended the conference and gave an address. The event was well received, and hopes were expressed that more such dialogues will be held in other parts of China in the future. In June 2006, the ninth dialogue was convened in Taipei, the first time the event was held in Taiwan. The conference was jointly sponsored by Zhengzhou University's College of International Affairs, UNESCO, the Elijah Interfaith Institute, GFLP, and the Development Foundation of the Museum of World Religions. Over 20 scholars and religious leaders from around the world gathered to share their ideas on such topics as globalization and spiritual traditions, new challenges and opportunities, identity and belonging with respect to religious diversity, spiritual practice and social engagement in the era of globalization, and religious education in a multi-faith environment. Following the success of the previous dialogues, the 10th dialogue was organized in cooperation with the Permanent Mission of the Republic of the Philippines to the United Nations. Thus, the event was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York in early September, just before the commemorations of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The title of the event was Towards a Global Family. Since 2008 marked the 60th anniversary of the UN's Universal Declaration of Human Rights, in addition to talks on spiritual traditions and social engagement, this time the dialogue touched on a number of new issues, including environmental protection and human rights. Religious and political leaders from several dozen countries gave talks on 3 topics: peace and human rights, poverty and social inequality, and ecological healing and earth rights. Penetrating insights were offered by such notable participants as Bawa Jain, the Secretary of the Millennium World Peace Summit of Religious and Spiritual Leaders, and Hilario Gelbolingo David Jr., Permanent Representative of the Philippines to the United Nations. The path to world peace begins in the human heart. In order to become peaceful, the human heart requires the nourishment of religious virtue and wisdom, which in turn are fostered by interreligious understanding and cooperation. Moreover, to obtain excellent fruits, you have to start by planting excellent seeds. The substantial achievements of this series of Buddhist-Muslim dialogues represent a thorough watering of the seeds of peace. Master Xin Dao has realized the role of religion in promoting world peace, as well as the importance of interreligious dialogue and exchange. Thus, in the wake of the destruction of the Bamiyan Buddha images and the 9/11 terrorist attacks, he organized the first Buddhist-Muslim dialogue in New York, followed by a series of dialogues in major cities around the world. By relying on the lofty heights of the human spirit, we can become messengers of peace. These dialogues can be likened to ringing the bells of peace, and the sound has been heard by all religions, not just Buddhism and Islam. In the Quran it is said, "O faithful ones, enter the way of peace with all your heart and soul." The Buddhist scriptures state, "Simple morality is the basis of peace." The teaching of the Buddha begins with this. Thus it is clear that when the heart is peaceful, the world is peaceful.